Hi, this is Mark. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about California. I'm going to talk about whether everyone is leaving the state, whether there will even be anyone left in the state of California when this video is finished. And before I do, if you could do me a favor and please hit that subscribe button, then I would really appreciate it. And let's get started. Now, every day you hear about all the problems in California, how everybody's leaving, how no one's coming to California. And is that true? Well, yes, to some extent it is. And most recently, people such as Kevin from MeetKevin have said they've had it with California, they're fed up, they're leaving California. So let's unpack that and take a closer look at it.
But let's be real, folks, it's the money.
Kevin is right. It's about the money. As soon as someone tells me it's not just about the money, I know right away it's totally about the money. But is it only about personal income taxes? For high income people like Kevin and other YouTubers, maybe. But for most people, I think the answer is definitely no. It's about cost of living, which doesn't include personal income taxes, but also includes sales tax, gas tax, and most importantly for most people, the cost of housing in California. I'll give you two examples from my recent past. I periodically have people who try to get me to take job offers, often in other states. One guy wanted me to take a job in North Carolina, and he said, you'll need to take about a 30% paycheck, but oh, by the way, the cost of living is much less in North Carolina. So I looked at it. Was he right? Yes. He was right because of the cost of housing. If you take out the cost of housing, then it's basically a wash. They're about the same. And in fact, in some areas, for example, healthcare, California was actually cheaper. So that if you have your housing cost under control and settled like I do, then it's not a big advantage. So I wasn't going to take a third less money to go to a place where I would need to sell my house in California and buy one in North Carolina in order to realize that price difference. The other example is a friend of mine who in fact did move to Texas. He moved to Dallas. He was an engineer, and these are the people who are really leaving California. I'm talking about the people who are in the middle class in California, which really means upper middle to lower upper class in most places, in the $75,000 to maybe $150,000 range in California. And what he did was he sold his house in California and bought a house in Dallas for cash, a much bigger house, and he didn't have a mortgage payment. He was able to do it because he could transfer with the same company from California to Texas. Now, a lot of people don't have that possibility. They're tied to where their job is. I understand Kevin and the other YouTubers don't have that problem.
In 2020, a YouTuber or radio talk show host living in California making $2 million per year would pay the state of California $230,763 in state income taxes.
First, no one's ever going to say that California is a tax haven. It's not. It has the highest sales tax in the nation, the second highest gas tax in the nation, and it has the highest income tax in the nation at 12.3%. And if you actually make over $1 million a year, then there's a surcharge which bumps you up another percent to 13.3%. So when Kevin was talking about how much tax he and other YouTubers are going to owe, he may have actually minimized it. They may owe more than that.
Since YouTubers and radio show hosts can just pack their bags and film anywhere, it kind of makes sense to consider leaving, because what's the difference if this camera tripod and this sound studio is in California or in Texas or in Vegas or in Florida?
So as soon as I hear someone is going to leave California, I know what's going to come up. It's going to be Nevada, it's going to be Texas, or it's going to be Florida. Now, Alaska never gets in on that list, and I don't know why that is. There's no income tax there either. So why is Alaska getting short shrift here? So it's obvious why these three states are on the list, because they have no income tax. And if your main reason for leaving is because of the high income tax rate in California, then that's where you're going to look. So let's take a look at those three. A lot of the people who are talking about leaving California are not only high income earners, but they're also real estate people, which is why I end up hearing about them. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and discount Texas, because the real estate there is very different, the lifestyle is very different, and it's just too far away. So that's going to leave Nevada and Florida. Now Florida, I'll give consideration to, because if you look at Miami and you compare it to Southern California, the lifestyles are pretty similar. It is very far away, but maybe you can manage it remotely. You turn over to a property manager, something. Now, I'm not sure people are going to do all those, but it is a possibility. Las Vegas is also a possibility. It's only about an hour plane ride away. It's very close, so it's definitely a possibility. Now, all of these would violate Kevin's 30-minute rule. Even Las Vegas, it's an hour plane ride. You count in ground transportation to and from, and you're looking at 2 hours. There's no way that it's within the 30-minute rule. So does that rule it out? Well, I don't think so, but let's look at the possibilities. He could sell all those real estate. I'm going to discount that immediately. It's not going to happen. It's not realistic. He could exchange them, sell them, and buy something else and not owe taxes on them, which would also be a reason not to sell them in the first place. That's a possibility. There's a lot of effort in that, but Kevin isn't afraid of hard work, so that's a possibility. Third is he could turn them over to property managers. I don't believe Kevin would do that. I don't recommend it. It would cost him a lot of money, and he has mostly single families. So I think the better option is that he continue to manage them himself. He finds good people on the ground, good tradespeople, a plumber, an electrician, and then he's a realtor. He can go there and get them rented himself when they're vacant, or he can either hire a local realtor there who fills the vacancy for him, and then he takes over the management. So I think managing them from afar, especially if he's in Vegas and he's only an hour away if he wants to go inspect the properties, is very doable. That's what I would recommend. Now, let's look at continuing his real estate in those other markets. That's where he's going to have a bigger issue. He's in the Los Angeles County market. The median real estate value there is almost $700,000. You look at the other markets, Las Vegas or Miami or Dallas, those are the other cities I looked at in Texas and Florida, and they're all under $400,000. So it's going to be harder for him to get the kind of difference in terms of after repair value versus price that he typically gets. He gets what he calls a wedge, and he's typically looking for $75,000 or $100,000. Well, if you're in the $700,000 range, that's 15%, a little bit less. It's going to be harder to get that wedge because your wedge is going to be a larger percentage of the purchase price of the property that you're buying. The alternative is that you're going to have to move up in price in terms of the market to something that's quite a bit above the median. And if you do that and you're looking to make it a rental, then you're going to have to move up in terms of the income of the tenant that you're looking for relative to what the average tenant makes in that market. And that means you're just going to have fewer tenants to choose from, and it's going to be harder to rent. Additionally, Las Vegas is by nature a transient rental market. It's based a lot on the casino market, and people come and go. It's very boom and bust. So it's hard to keep a quality tenant for a long term, and that's what makes rental property really valuable. Stability in terms of your good, high quality, long term, easy paying tenants.
As a real estate professional, I could take advantage of some substantial upfront tax deductions.
Kevin has hit on the exact solution right here. As a real estate professional, for him and all the other real estate professionals who are high income earners, the answer is buy more real estate. It really is just that simple. Normally, I'm the type of person who says it's not that simple, but in this case, it really is that simple. Buy more real estate. The other thing is that for states like California and a lot of other ones, their state income tax is based off the federal return. So the answer is not to look at California and try to fix those taxes. So for example, if you're concerned about not being able to deduct your state and local taxes off your federal return, the answer is to fix your federal return first. Take your deductions there, and that's how you do it with the real estate. And then from there, those deductions, for the most part, with a few exceptions, will flow down to your California return. Worry about your federal return first, and then your state California return will work off of that. This is Mark. This was my video on YouTubers and everybody else leaving California. Except me, I'm not leaving. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, if you could please subscribe, then it would really mean a lot to me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.